Paul Harrell, weekdays from 4 to 6. Learn more at paulharrell.com.
What a huge win last night for grassroots conservatism over in Alabama. Judge Roy Moore winning by essentially 10 points against Luther Strange, who, well, I mean, the odds, the money, I mean, it was just incredible victory for Roy Moore, Judge Roy Moore, and so he goes on to the general. Joining us now to talk about this, we have the political director from the Roy Moore for Senate campaign, Alex Roundtree joins us. Alex, welcome, sir.
Hey, Paul. It's great to be with you.
Yes, sir. I'm glad that you could. So tell us. Glad you could be with us. Tell us about the feeling right now. Congrats on the big win last night.
Well, we appreciate that. The feeling is something. It's hard to describe, I guess, when you're outspent 30 million to 1 or 30 to 1, I guess. You know, and you just see the establishment scrambling to do everything they can, especially the Senate Leadership Fund and whatnot. And to see their arrogance, honestly, to think that they can just buy negative ads and shape the opinions of the people of Alabama. You know, and that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
So,
well,
it was great. It was great to see.
Yeah, it absolutely was. I think it demonstrates that the election was more. It really just says, because I know Donald Trump endorsed Luther Strange, and I also now know that you've got, Donald Trump is going to support Roy Moore. But it was interesting that it was the ideas that people voted on, last November, and it seems like those ideas are still around. They still resonate with the people, and they want those conservative ideas to become a reality. You agree with that?
Absolutely. And the irony in all this is the establishment in D.C., when Trump was elected, obviously they were on pins and needles. They didn't like that. They tried all sorts of stuff to keep that from happening. But they continued to think that this was a Trump thing and not necessarily an ideas thing. And I think that we just proved last night that's not the case. Mm-hmm. We the people are sick and fed up of things as usual, and we're looking for real conservatives, and we're looking for change.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. I think, and the people are certainly. I mean, you can just feel it. Last night was just such a huge victory for the grassroots, And now I want to tell our audience something, Alex. We're talking with Alex Roundtree. Again, he's political director for Roy Moore campaign, but you're also the former political director for the Arkansas Republican Party. Now, that's correct, right?
That is correct, yeah.
So why did you leave the Arkansas GOP?
Well, honestly, I was contacted by people from the Roy Moore campaign, and I had some ties to some people that were in charge of this campaign. Working on this race was something I just honestly couldn't turn down. Everybody likes a good fight. I especially do, and I got in politics because I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to bring actual conservatism, back into the fold. And this working on the Roy Moore campaign was a way that I could actually do that.
Okay. So,
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I do. Let me just ask you point blank. In the Arkansas GOP, when you were working there, is there a resistance to true limited government ideas within the Arkansas Republican Party?
Well, look, first, let me thank Doyle Webb and Sarah Joe for every opportunity they gave me, and I absolutely loved working with them and have all the respect in the world for them. But that question is sort of vague in the sense of what are we considering the Arkansas GOP? Are we just talking about the staff? Are we talking about the executive committee? I mean, because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I mean, there's a lot of really good limited government conservatives in different parts, of
right
of the
you're saying
state Republican Party.
Yeah, you're saying they're not all bad. Yeah. But let's focus let's focus on the leadership. I mean, you know what I mean. That's what my question is. Is there a resistance to, limited government ideas? You said yourself you left the Arkansas Republican Party because you wanted to, revitalize, and you went and worked for an anti-establishment, a guy who didn't have the support of the establishment, so that you could actually see some of the, true conservatism have a shot. And so did the Arkansas Republican Party, was there really not a chance to do that in the Arkansas Republican Party at this point?
Yeah, I mean, not to the extent that I was able to do it here. And let me be clear, way before the Senate race here in Alabama was down to a runoff, I'm talking back in the spring, I was told point blank, and this isn't from the Arkansas GOP, this is from the RNC. Anybody that works and helps a candidate that's not Luther Strange would be blackballed from Republican politics. I was told that point blank, and you can see that in the way all the other candidates, especially the serious candidates, their campaign structures. I mean, Mo Brooks, who is a wonderful guy and who is a current legislature congressman, and even for his campaign, it's hard to find people that that are faced with absolutely being blackballed from their career of choice.
Yeah.
That want to partake.
Right. Right. So when we're talking with Alex Roundtree, former political director for the RPA here in Arkansas, and Roy Moore campaign political director now, coming off this huge victory, and I want to keep focused on the Arkansas GOP, Alex, because we came off this session where we have all these tax increases, attempted tax increases, and this was supported by ASA, going after more and more money. We have an allergy, ASA didn't want any social bills, socially conservative bills, or very, not the ones that the people wanted. What were you thinking? I mean, as a conservative working there, what were your thoughts on all of that? Could you believe the Republican Party they were not acting like the platform they run on?
Well, let me say this, because I definitely have a confidentiality clause with the RPA. So this isn't from, I'm not saying this as a former employee, I'm saying this just as a political operative and observer. The legislative session was absolutely frustrating. I mean, the fact that, Arkansas is theoretically in the top 10 reddest states now. And it's the most southern state that's in the top 10 states. And if you could see me right now, I'm using little air quotes.
Okay.
Because, we have majorities in the state house, the state senate, all constitutional officers, but we can't pass a trial run on education, and school choice. Just take that as an example. I mean, look, people need to quit beating around the bush and just see things for what they are. If we're not passing limited government, fiscally conservative bills, if we're increasing taxes, and we have a majority in, every possible place that we could, except at a few county levels, there's a problem. And it's because most of the elected officials are not, they're not conservative, fiscally or socially.
Yeah. So
necessarily.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to assume that situation, that environment down there. I mean, I know you had a great opportunity, obviously, with the Roy Moore campaign, but it probably had to make it kind of easy to leave, knowing that here's this is an anti-establishment situation in Alabama. I'm going to go help out versus the establishment here in Arkansas. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I mean, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Were you ever aware of any situations, ideas down there? I know you said you have a confidentiality agreement. I do not want you to get anywhere close to breaking that with the Republican Party of Arkansas. But, I mean, is there an effort to protect big government Republicans and make it harder on platform Republicans? Because it seems like now at this point, when these establishment non-platform Republicans get called out or they get criticized for acting like Democrats and progressives with the policies they're pursuing, that's a circle the wagon protectionist mentality, and they start to look at the platform Republicans who are standing up from my angle, and they don't like them. So, I mean, I guess, I've had Doyle Webb on the program, Alex, and he's talked about how primaries are a good thing if you're, if you're upset with the party, you're upset with your candidate. Primaries are a good thing, and the context of that question was to try to protect the image of the Republican Party, which is terrible right now. We have Jake Files, who will not resign. The GOP will not call on him to resign. They got a real image problem going on right now. And so, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, are there any situations that are designed to protect big government Republicans and make it harder on the platform guys who are really standing up for what they campaigned on?
Well, sure. And, I mean, look, okay. Primaries are the way to get who we want into office, whether that's a conservative or whether that's an intellectual Republican. However, what's not said is who's being backed, in a primary behind the scenes, and where resources and money are being directed. So, we're not looking at a zero-sum game here where everything is completely square and everybody's starting on an even level. So, I mean, conservatives actually have to basically either be independently wealthy and have name recognition, or they have to band together, which is something that we're seeing nationally now after this election last night.
Mm-hmm.
At a huge level, with people coming together. I mean, we had Nigel Farage come Monday night for a rally.
Yes.
From Brexit, for this sole reason. But it's the same at the state level. The real conservatives just don't have the backing that the establishment does, so they have to be scrappy. They have to be.
That's exactly right.
Creative, I mean, but it's getting to the point where the people are finally kind of waking up to what's going on.
Yes.
Look, a buddy that also works on the campaign, on Judge Moore's campaign, and I were talking last night about McCain and then Romney and how terrible candidates they were. And then we started talking about Bush and W and how non-conservative he was. But, until like 2009 and the Tea Party movement, people just they assumed that if you're a Republican, you're a conservative. And that's not reality.
Yeah.
By any.
We're talking with Alex Roundtree from the Roy Moore campaign, the former political director of the Republican Party of Arkansas. Now, Alex, I want to ask you about Roy Moore. Last Thursday, Jan Morgan traveled to Montgomery and gave a speech after that debate to try to rally the crowd up. I watched it online. I thought she did a great job. What were your thoughts on Jan Morgan's comments?
Oh, she did fantastic. She was incredible, and we really, really appreciate her making the trip and coming out and supporting the judge, but also, standing up for her conservative beliefs, and that's why we were so eager to get her there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's nationally known, and this was a coincidence, because I don't want people to think that this is the reason that she was invited, but she's a spokesperson for the Citizens for Trump organization, which I believe she said is the largest national grassroots organization for Trump. And we had been working with them on an endorsement, and they came through, and it just happened to be at the time Jan was already in town, and she's their spokesperson.
Yes.
But she was invited before that, but I didn't even know she was connected with this.
Right.
And it's funny, sort of, I guess, if you look at the way Jan's been treated around the state of Arkansas. I mean, it's okay. So I have chairs of county committees that are calling and are requesting to have Roy Moore come to a Lincoln Day dinner. So I give them the stipulation that well, yeah, sure, we'll try to work something out. Are you okay with having Jan Morgan speak and introduce the judge? And then you hear a big pause. Well, I mean, look, I'm sorry, but that's embarrassing for the state of Arkansas.
Yep.
I mean, you have one of the most closely watched, nationally run Senate races in recent memory, and we're embracing her with open arms. I mean, people outside of Arkansas love her and want her.
Exactly. Well, and the people, here's the thing, the people inside Arkansas agree with what she says, and they like her, but it's they don't want to step on Ace's toes. They don't want to step on that establishment that you left, Alex, to go do real conservative work where it's actually allowed, where they're not afraid of ideas. And it's and I'm glad that you've been following it here, about how she was disinvited, and then they're putting all this pressure. We got emails from Mississippi County and people out of the governor's office saying don't have Jan Morgan to speak. I mean, we know that their establishment, the stuff that you've said here is not really telling us anything new other than you are confirming, hey, this environment is it is what we all suspect it is, that there's really this movement to push out limited government thought. And we've got to go to break, and I will give you the last word, Alex Roundtree.
Well, I didn't mean to not bring anything new, but I didn't.
You did bring stuff new. Go ahead.
I know. I'll go ahead and confirm that, though. I mean, look, the establishment. Look, they know the price of everything, but they know the value of nothing. And it's everything that you're saying is true, that I can confirm or deny. And look, the people just need to stand up and realize what's going on, and I think they're starting to. And just seek the change. Don't be afraid. Like Kylie Crossnow, I give her a huge prop in Mississippi County. Just because you're told not to do something doesn't mean that you don't have to do it.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Alex Roundtree, we appreciate it, sir. And I'd love to do another interview. Keep us posted on what's everything going on with Roy Moore campaign. And congratulations on the success, the big win last night.
Thanks, Paul. You take care.
Hey, thank you, Alex. Folks, we got to take a break. Back in a moment.